Hey there, happy day 1131 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. A few years back, I got divorced and had the opportunity to divest myself of all the business holdings and all the businesses and all the things I'd done in the past and explore something I'd been curious about for a long time, but never really taken the opportunity and taken the time or had the energy left over with everything else I was doing to explore. And that is the online world of business, the internet world. Now, with COVID-19 hitting just about a year ago now, we're coming up, I call it the anniversary, is like right around my birthday next week. So I think about what has changed, and I'm so grateful that I had taken that leap of faith and gone online in 2017, 2018 timeframe. 2017 was a year of just learning everything because I fell into that trap where, oh, you got to know everything. You got to figure it all out yourself in order to decide what you want to do to move forward. And I followed a lot of rabbit holes and a lot of trails that led me astray into this constant learning loop mode. And I was surprised I had gotten sucked into it, but I totally got sucked into it. Now, I was still running businesses and doing things on the side, so it wasn't horrible for me, but it was a lot of wasted time and energy and effort by not having a way, a method of how I was going to go about creating my online presence. Now, I'm continuing to learn and grow and figure those things out. In the next month, Get Up and Go Challenge just finished up yesterday. Our sixth 30-day Get Up and Go free challenge to help people understand the SOAP framework. I got my handy dandy bar of soap here, which is something I'm going to work on this month to make that a little bit more polished and professional, because I'm going to do it again in April. And I want to make it awesome. Even though it's free, I want it to be awesome so people really get a lot of value out of it and learn that they can be guaranteed to be better off after any change or challenge that they encounter if they use a framework, if they have a method that they learn, they practice, they make their own, they install in their subconscious and let it operate automatically in their life. From now on, it is a process. I'm not brainwashing or training anybody to do something that I don't do every day. It's a process, and it's just a defined process, a way of dealing with things that we're all going to encounter for the rest of our life. Yeah, COVID was a big shocker last year for a lot of people, but literally the entire planet, millions and millions, if not, well, billions of people were impacted by it and are continuing to be impacted by the ramifications and the fallout of COVID-19. And so change is something, there's not very many things we can count on and we can expect and we know that for sure are going to happen in our life. But one of those things is change, challenges, problems, dilemmas, situations, setbacks, obstacles to when we're moving toward what we want. We're guaranteed to have those. They're going to pop up. They're going to come up. A lot of times they come up because they want to see, the world wants to see if we're really serious about the things that we say that we want. If we're really serious about getting that new job, if we're really serious about losing weight, if we're really serious about having a better relationship, if we're really serious about increasing our skills or abilities in any area or aspect of our life, we might start down that road, but we're going to hit some tests and some trials and some tribulations and some drama and some trauma and some stuff that tests our desire, tests our will to really go forward with that. So Get Up and Go Challenge, in between challenges right now. And the last couple of times I've been in between challenges for over a couple of weeks, I have gone ahead and done some other way of producing daily content. I did not do that in January this year. Last month, I guess 2 months ago now, because we're already in March, because the challenge ran over only 28 days in February, so we had to go over a couple of days. I didn't have to, I wanted to, but I didn't do it in January, and I didn't do content every day for that group, and it felt like a total loss for me. And I don't know how the group felt about it, because I shared my Supersize Your Business and my annual challenge in the group and on the page, but I didn't do something specifically for that group for continued personal development. And I realized today, since it's the first day of not being involved in a Get Up and Go challenge now for 31 days, I have this sense of loss that I should be doing something all the time for this group. Why? Because not only is it for the group, but it's also for me, for my continuous improvement, for my sharpening my saw, for my growing and development and my skills enhancement and my practicing things that I'm doing to make sure that I am communicating in continually improving ways, tripping over my tongue and saying the wrong words. And it's kind of like my written communication these days with my vision loss. My written communication, I got typos, I got the wrong word, I got spelling. It's crazy. And as I get better with verbal software and things, that will get better and it'll improve. The softwares will learn to keep up with my fast-paced voice and I'll have less errors. But I almost need an editor to follow me around with everything that I do all day long to just correct the mistakes that I make. Although I realize that some of those are not that important because people with perfectly good 20/20 vision make the same kind of typos and mistakes and errors as I do. And it isn't the end of the world as long as the message is getting out and we understand one another and what we're trying to communicate and convey. So I was thinking about sharpening the saw or sharpening the axe today. I think at this point in my life, I think everyone's heard these stories, but of course they haven't about, and there's lots of memes and sayings about it. If you were in a contest to cut down a tree or to chop down a cherry tree or something like they say about George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, what would you do? What would your strategy be? How would you go about it? And I think it was attributed to Abe Lincoln. I'd have to look it up. It's not one of the idioms I was looking up today, but I was thinking about it with great minds think alike, which was our proverb and our idiom for Supersize Your Business today. Great minds think alike. And I learned something new doing this today. The whole saying isn't great minds think alike. It's great minds think alike, fools seldom differ. Or great minds think alike, small minds rarely differ. Saying the same thing, but basically, hey, great minds think alike, but so do people that don't have great minds that are just brainwashed or thinking alike, or they're foolish, or they're not thinking for themselves. Those people think alike too because they've been told what to think. If you're in an organization where everyone is controlled and told what to think and how to behave every minute of the day and micromanage in that organization, guess what? They all start to think exactly alike. They all toe the company line. They all do and say and recite the same verbiage. Kind of like cults, right? Cults act that way, where these are the rules. They are absolute guidelines and ways we behave. If you go outside that, you'll be punished or ostracized and kicked out of the group altogether. Again, we're seeing a lot of that in our world right now, which is especially here in America, which is absolutely heartbreaking and unacceptable in so many ways. And it's one of those things that I try to shut up about, but I can't really shut up about it because I thoroughly believe that what makes America great is that we do think for ourselves. Individuals think for themselves. Individuals go after their dreams. Individuals want to make the world a better place. And right now, there's pockets that aren't feeling like that at all. So what do you do? My question for you today is, what do you do to sharpen your saw, sharpen your axe, to stay sharp, to stay on top of your game, to continually improve and get better at what it is that you do, and then what it is that you want to do and be and have and achieve in your life? How do you sharpen your saw? I, for example, started yesterday on a 3-day training to sharpen my saw, to get better at certain skills and aspects and areas of my business that I frankly suck at. And it's by choice. It's areas that I'm not good at, and I know I'm not good at them, and that I just, do the minimum to get by, and I ignore them. We all have areas and aspects of our life like that, where we go gung-ho on things we love to do and are good at, and then other things get kind of lost by the wayside. And at some point, as we're growing and improving and getting better, sharpening our saw, they're the things that we're attracted to. And I say, okay, yep, I see this training. I'm going to take this training. This is not necessarily the next thing I need, but I know it's a key component in the next thing I need in the area and aspect of my life. So I will tune in. I will make the time. I will schedule it, and I will participate in that. How often do you do those things? How often do you read books? How often do you research, read articles, look up topics, solve problems, solve your own problems? How often do you seek out answers to questions that you have as you're living your life and experiencing your life, as you're on this crazy journey that is only your journey, only your life? How often do you do that? And then what type of things do you do? I read, even with my eye challenges. I blow books up on a 62-inch screen TV, or I use magnifying glasses to see things, and I mean super duper deluxe magnifying glasses, not just the little ones you see me with online. And I use opaque machines where you can blow up texts on a big screen, as well as listening to audiobooks and things, doing things through VoIP, voice over internet protocol, because I need to use my voice more than my eyes and some other senses. So what are the kinds of things, and how often do you do those things? I find that I am in a continuous improvement cycle at this point in my life, where every single day I am doing something to enhance one area or aspect of my life. Many things I've set up as habits and rituals, morning routines, daily routines, evening wind down routines, things that have become habits because I know that they're going to automatically move me toward what I want. And then I'm always looking for, what can I do to be a better version of myself? What can I do to enhance who it is that I want to become and be, and how I want to show up on the planet? So when I see things that I'm attracted to, I ask myself, is this the right time for this? Is it urgent? Is it important? Can I make time in my schedule for it? Sometimes the answer is no. I've got commitments that I need to live up to, and I can't make time for it. But other times I find, yes, I absolutely can shift things around and make sure I'm still meeting all of my commitments, yet I can continue to grow and be better skilled, practice my skills, so that I can serve the people that I'm here to serve better. So I find that, as if I'm really honest, I am pretty much always sharpening my saw in some way, shape, or form every single day, at least for the last several years. Online, ever since I've come online, I'm always learning and growing and looking for what I need to do, what I need to be better at in order to improve what it is that I'm here to do in the world, how I want to show up in the world. And that's, in all the areas and aspects of my life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. Sometimes one area or aspect of my life needs more attention. For example, I've been participating in probably over a year now with an amazing woman named Avril Beckford. And what she does is, she's amazing reading expert. And she teaches and coaches people through different programs that she's created to become readers. And not readers as in, I pick up a book. Of course, I've got tons of books here, and I'm not going to pick up a book that would be a good example. But she teaches us how to read a book without reading every word in the book. Now, this is an exception because this is a challenge I'm doing this year, a 365-day challenge, to do one thing every day that centers me. Why? Because every day I want to get to know myself better, get to know what makes me tick. Why do I do and say and show up in different places in different ways the way I do? Why the heck am I the way I am? And what things can I do to focus in, understand myself better, so I can show up better in the world, so I can be a better example for those I love and care about, and for other people that I interact with. I want to be a positive force in the world, a positive influence in the world. And part of that comes from first understanding ourselves. So she does these challenges. I got to tell you, that was definitely a push and a challenge for me. But I've had the habit of reading before bed every night. Even though I can't see very well, I still have a habit of consuming information that will help me in different areas and aspects of my life at night. So it was easy to put that this is my last thing I do every day before I go to bed. And I just added it to my evening routine, and I said, okay, this is the last thing. And it worked really well because it allowed me to go to sleep thinking about the things I was picking out of the book. And I wasn't reading it word for word. I was picking out the pieces that were pertinent to whatever it was I was reading the book for. She teaches us to read deliberately, which is so powerful. And I'd been doing that for a long time. I'll give you an example. I wanted to start outsourcing things in my Italian food manufacturing business. And I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I've been in manufacturing for a long time, management and things, but I don't really personally know or understand or have a great grasp on outsourcing. So how was I going to learn about outsourcing while running my business and raising my family and doing all these things? Went on Amazon, because Amazon was a big book place then, and I ordered like 20 books on outsourcing. I just went through, read a couple of reviews, looked at the ones that sounded good or that I could get a piece of the pie, piece of the information about outsourcing, because outsourcing is a huge topic, right? And I bought like 20 books, and I read 20 books, which took me a while because I used to read word for word, but I was really reading for, what do I need to do in order that I can outsource some of the activities or outsource some of the different functions of my business. And if I had been reading like Avril teaches us to, read to solve your problem and only read the parts of the book that you need that will help solve your problem, I could have saved myself a whole lot of time and energy. And this is back when I could still see. really, really well, and I could read no problem. I had only lost the vision in my left eye, so my right eye was still clicking, and I could read. And but I could have saved myself a lot of time if I knew her strategy back then. That's why we go find coaches. That's why we sharpen the saw, so we can continually improve our skills in the areas that we need to. My whole point of that was she's doing another challenge, and this time, and she's done a bunch of different ones, like read 10 books in 30 days. I did that one, and now we're coming up on another one. We're reading specifically to solve a problem. So she wants us to read, I can't remember, 5 books, maybe 5 books we're picking, to pick 5 books to read on a topic that solves a specific problem that we're curious about and we want to do. Well, physically during COVID, my health is kind of gone. My health's good still, awesome, but I notice I don't have the energy I normally have. I don't have the desire to do the things I normally do with respect to physical activity. Maybe it's just because we've all been locked down and hunkered down for so long. It's kind of like having extended cabin fever, and I want to get back into that. And part of that is I've gained weight, and like my clothes are tight, and I don't like that. So I want to solve that problem, meaning I want to get my energy back, be more active, lose some weight, so I can fit into all my clothes, because I like being able to fit into all my clothes. It gives me lots more choices every day about what I want to wear, where I want to go. So I told her I'm going to read books on keto, which I know nothing about, and intermittent fasting, because those are the 2 things I've heard through the grapevine over the last year that really help people out. Now, I have certain health challenges and certain restrictions that I need to also keep in mind if I'm going to do that, but I don't know enough about it to decide whether it's a go or no go. So my problem I'm going to read about is intermittent fasting. I need to know the basics of it, and keto, the basics of it, the foundations, and then, how it works, why it works, and if it's going to work with my health situation. If it isn't, then I need to do something else, but I want to just I'll read 5 books on it. Got 3. I'll get a couple of more, and I'll do that as part of her challenge. So I'm sharpening my saw, and I'm learning about an area that normally I wouldn't look at, but we all need to look at our health and our well-being, right? And our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health, our physical health, our financial health, right? We need to look at all those. We need to look at the health of our relationships, and what are we here to do? Contribution. What are we doing? What are we putting out into the world? And sometimes those are very personal things inside of us that we need to explore. Other times they are, how do we impact the world? What kind of an impact or influence do we want to have on other people? So mine, over the next, I don't know how many days she gave us to do this one, but maybe it's a 10-day challenge. I'll have to look. I get lots of stuff going on in life all the time, but I will look. And so that's one of the things I'm going to do to continually sharpen my saw. I do 365-day challenges every year. This is my 4th year now, of one key area and aspect of my life that I want to influence and have huge impact on. How do you do that? By doing one small thing every day. First year I did one thing every day that scares me, one thing every day to stretch my comfort zone. It was all different things and activities. Then the next year I did one thing every day that made me happy. Last year I did one fun thing every day with my granddaughter, and I was watching her during COVID. Perfect choice for 2020. I got to tell you, picking and finding and doing and making yourself actually do one fun thing or think about one fun thing every day probably helped me to get through the whole crazy COVID pandemic and election and politics and nonsense crap that's going on outside of me. And then this year is all about what's going on inside of me, what centers me, what really feels right, what makes me tick. And so that's what the challenge will be. And that is all about sharpening the saw, right? Whether it's learning outside skills and things like the training I'm doing, or whether it's hiring a coach or hiring or being part of a mastermind, all those things to me are sharpening the saw, getting better, continually improving on the skills that I already have, that I have developed over the last almost 5 decades. That's really scary to say. 47 years. I've been in business since I was 13, which is really interesting too. And before that, my dad always had us girls doing different projects and doing different things with him in his businesses. He worked in corporate America for 35 plus years before he retired. And on the side, he always had things going. He had real estate. He had rental property. He had, back then, it's called Section 8 now, but it was called welfare housing back then. What else? Car wash, different businesses selling all kinds of seasonal stuff, from Christmas trees, Christmas wreaths till the Boy Scouts were doing it, and fireworks, all kinds of things, rodeos, amazing, all the different things that we did over the years. Liquor, wholesale and retail liquor, restaurants. Papatronia's a pizza place that was really fun, which made the best chicken Alfredo pizza back in the day before anyone even made chicken Alfredo pizza. So lots of cool things, lots of fun things, but lots of ways to always be sharpening our saw. So my question for you today is, how often do you sharpen your saw? And you don't have to tell me, but do you ever do it? Or are you like the vast majority of the population, where you went to grade school, you went to high school, you may or may not have gone to college, you may or may not have gone to a trade school after college, but you got a job and you're doing your job and you're proficient, and you're great at it, or maybe you're not because you don't love it, but you are in it and doing it every single day. What are you doing to be better at that job every single day? Because the only way we do something else in our life is if we're great at what we do, and if we're, even if it's just bringing the best attitude to what we do, that's how we find the other opportunities and the other things that make us feel better. All right, that is, I guess, wishing you an amazing day. I'll be with you tomorrow with another update on what's she up to now. Take care.